Our next guest on the Any Given Run Day podcast has ran marathons, the Kerryway Ultra Light, and recently, in honour of his late dad, ran 100 kilometres the week before his 18th birthday from his house in Limerick to where his dad is buried in Cork, while raising money for the Children's Grief Centre and the SHF, where there's a primary school named after his dad, James. Chris O'Connor, welcome to this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. How are you getting on?
Brilliant. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Chris, do you not like PlayStation, or what's the story? What's going on? What's getting you?
I quit that about 10 years ago.
You're dead right.
And where did your running journey start, Chris? How? Because that's a phenomenal intro, and there's a lot in that we're going to get into over the next little while. But where did running start for you, or how did you end up at now at because you're 18 years of age? How did you end up in running, and especially these distances?
So, well, first and foremost, my mum and grandparents always said when I was young that I was walking at 10 months old, and I was running as soon as I was walking, and they'd never be able to catch me, and I'd be running away from them. So I guess it started then when I was that young. Just as soon as I was able to walk, I was running everywhere. Um, Besides that, I didn't really play too much sports, honestly, but I did always kind of like to dabble in and out of running. And I go for the odd jog or do cross country with the school in primary school or whatever. But really, it's only all kind of kicked off for me in the past 2 years since my father passed away. Um, that kind of gave me a really big kickstart to get into running. And coming up to before he left to go and do Kilimanjaro, where he passed away, I had started training with him and I was going to do the Cork Marathon. So I'd been on a few runs with him and kind of met people who he was friends with and would go out running with. And it kind of gave me good connections to get properly into running as well.
How did your dad get you into that first 10K race, Chris?
So he was constantly asking me to go and do a 10K, go and do a 10K. But at this point I was like 14, had no interest, just wanted to be out with my friends, wanted nothing to do with it. And anyway, he said, look, I have the 10K Great Limerick Run ticket bought for you. I'll give you 20 quid if you beat my PB, which his PB at the time was, he had 47 minutes. So I didn't care. I knew for a fact if I was running 10K, I was beating his PB. So I did anyway. I think I got 46 minutes or something. And I was in my element then. But still kind of had no interest. Like I was just doing it for the handy 20 quid back then. But
The handy 20 quid. I tell you what, Chris, I'd pay you 20 just to give me a 47-minute 10K at this stage. Chris, moving on from that, you obviously you hadn't really got that take. Were you involved in any other team sports or anything at the time, or was it dipping in and out of running? Was just that was your end of the sport, and at that stage?
Well, when I was younger, well, really until I was 15 or 16, I played soccer, but not that seriously, kind of just as some fun to do, like. And I kind of trained boxing for a while as well, but never really got fully into it. But always kind of running was always something that was in the back of my mind and that I kind of dabble into. And yeah, it just progressed from there then.
Obviously, by the sounds of your dad, he loved the challenge, he loved the run, he loved the endurance. Did he, in that time, impart any wisdom on you when you were coming on the 10K? I'd say he was beaming with pride to see you beat his PB. I'd
Yeah.
say he was in shock as well.
Yeah.
But what did that mean for him and that 10K experience? And then I know it didn't sell it to you then, but did you have a bit more of a bond or an understanding of what he was talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Like when you get out there and do it, it's such a different ball game. And like when he was getting up to do his long runs on a Sunday morning, it meant nothing to me until he took me out and we done our first half marathon together. And then I understood it from then on, like. And the same with the 10K. I was almost getting sick after finishing it. But just from that one time doing it, you gain the understanding. And even though it didn't push me to go out running 3-4 times every week, it definitely kind of gave me a bit of hope. And just like 'cause at that point, I wasn't really doing much of myself, only out messing with my friends. And it kind of was like a good accomplishing feeling at the time.
You're talking about your dad doing long runs and stuff, Chris. Did you see him on race day for marathons and stuff like that? And did the bug or thought ever cross your mind going, you know what, I'd love to do that someday?
Well, yeah, especially when I was younger. And even him doing 10Ks, I done the Great Limit Run 10K for the first time when I was 11, I think. And I done it in an hour and 10 minutes, and we done it together then as well. So, yeah, even then, like, I always did kind of find enjoyment in it. And yeah, definitely from being around him and all of his friends having similar interests in doing the same things and being around all of them, you do kind of get the atmosphere. And when like those are the role models who you're looking up to, you definitely aspire to go in the same direction. For me, anyway.
And your dad, he loved the challenge. You mentioned it there a second ago. Kilimanjaro. I don't know how much you want to get into it, Chris, but he was going to do it for his 40th birthday.
Yeah, and his 40th birthday was the same day as my 16th birthday. We share the same birthday, so he had gone over to climb Kilimanjaro with one of his friends, and just on the last day when they're doing their final hike to reach the summit, he passed away due to altitude sickness. And yeah, obviously, really hard time. And again, showing, yeah, that he truly did love to challenge himself, and he took videos the whole way along going up, and he was just saying how much of a challenge it was. But um, yeah, in many ways, he's always challenging himself.
So when you're 16 at age, and particularly, and I put myself back at the time when I was 16, and to lose that figure in your life, the one that's pushing you, the one that's let's do a 10K, try and beat my PB, and for want of a better word as well, trying to keep us out of trouble from hanging around and messing and all of those other things. We can go two ways in life, and particularly when you lose a role model like that. First of all, Chris, how difficult is it, and was it at the time, and it probably still is, to process that?
Yeah, so at the time, and looking back, just like every emotion hitting you at the same time, and at the same time that I was going out doing things that weren't benefiting me, I also like was feeling such a need to do I'm proud and everything, so I was out running like almost every second day and going all out in runs. And then that led to me getting injured then because I wasn't being sustainable, like, and also just your body feels it, like the grief and the stress and everything, like your body feels that way as well. And then dealing with that as well, um, being injured and not being able to run after all I want to do is run. And it's really hard to stay afloat. And like when you go to the physio and the physio can give you a few stretches, and you wouldn't realize how hard it is to just sit down and do a few stretches for 20 minutes every day. Like,
We know.
it'd like
Oh, we still
I'd be
don't
a
do
lot quicker. I'd be a lot quicker to go out and run 15K than sit
Mhm.
down every evening and do the same stretches for 20 minutes. Like,
Yep.
glute stretches, glute bridges, glute everything,
yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, and then it was kind of hard getting back up out of that hole of injury. Um, but I did, and that was kind of at the start of 2025. Um, till I started getting back into it and training for the Cork Marathon, and since then I've just been going strong.
So for us, we always say, Chris, we're either, and I say it weekly, and people are probably well used to me saying it, we're either running from something or for something, or to be a part of something. And for you, in many senses, and dive in as much as we want, there was probably a lot of those in there. For me, running definitely becomes a meditation. For you, probably that, and maintaining a bond with your dad.
Mm. 100%. And it is a really big connection for me. And especially in those moments, like when I was doing the Cork Marathon the first time, um, and they own a family restaurant in Cork, and it's in the city. So I was running past the restaurant when I was coming close to the finish line, around a kilometre away, like, and a really strong connection, like got the whole family coming out to support me there. And the same doing the Kerry Ultra, feeling that, like, enjoying the scenery, but then when I'm starting to struggle, I'm feeling a bit drained or a bit brought down, then I feel that support from him pushing me on, like.
Yeah, a lot, and look, we've skipped on there probably to the finish line of that, and one thing, and I suppose people who listen to this podcast, and what me and Sean didn't have Sean and I didn't have when we started our running journey, was people to advise us, and like that, you've taken on Cork, you started the journey with him, and I know probably a couple of his pals were there for advice, but taking on your first marathon at 16, there's a lot involved, especially when it comes up to long runs. You've come back from injury. Um, what was the part that kind of grounded you in this sustainable part? What did you change to bring yourself towards that start line, and who then helped you out with advice, or did you go all on your own, just on how it felt then, and what was right for you to get you through a difficult time?
So definitely, there was especially one of his friends, Shane, that was really um, good to me and good with advice on running. He's big into running and ultra marathons, and he has helped me so much on my running journey. And every time I've been up in Cork, he's went on runs with me, and then um, supported me and gave me advice. But really, what it came down to was I just got a training plan for the marathon, and it was just sticking to that. Like, I didn't really change. It wasn't like at the time a massive lifestyle change or anything. Like, I was still kind of doing the same things, but now I was just doing this as well. And it just came down to that, just making sure I was doing every run and sticking to my training plan. And then it just built. And then after the fourth marathon, it was more serious. And then it began to be a change of lifestyle.
Can I ask you about the start line of Cork? Because the start line of any race, be a 5K, 10K, but particularly a marathon, there is a certain energy about it. You can, if you are confident enough and have done a few, you can look around and see the emotion on people's faces. What was that like for you? The start line of what would have been a great race with your dad, and it's a big race.
Definitely, yeah. So I was, well, first I was buzzing and honestly filled with confidence because I knew I had hit all my runs and my training was done. So it was kind of at the point where it was about enjoying it and feeling the pain of it and embracing that because I had done the training to earn that pain now. But alongside that, definitely very emotional like that, especially seeing all the family out supporting me and my siblings wrote signs and everything. And we went for dinner after, and everyone out supporting them. There's just so much love in that. And everyone's so proud of me, so happy for me. And it's just the saddest thing ever that he couldn't be here for that. But we couldn't have done that while he was here. But the sad reality of it is also that we mightn't have all have been connected on that day. And maybe not all of my aunts and uncles mightn't have made an effort to come out to dinner afterwards if things hadn't went how they did. Like, so definitely a lot of emotions in that.
It's sad how something like that brings, it takes something like that to bring a lot of people together, as you're alluding to there, Chris. When you were doing the Cork Marathon, your first marathon, did you know heading into it? Because when, like, obviously nowhere near the same thing. When me and Eric were doing our first one, it was like one and done, never again. And we hear it so many times in the podcast, people going to build towards their first, like, oh, this is it, one and done. Like, no, it's not. Because of all the emotions and stuff going into this one, and you said you hadn't quite made that lifestyle change yet. Was this at the time a one and done? And then after that, I can't even imagine the first line, the finish line feeling, because I get emotional. I was going to say an average marathon, but it is what you went through. Was this a one and done and just, I want to do this for him and that was going to be it? And then this just took you on a journey from there?
I don't really think so. Like, even though it wasn't as much of a lifestyle change, but as I was getting closer to the marathon, I was definitely building a connection to running. Uh, Even if I wasn't eating less takeaway or not doing this or that because of it, I was definitely still growing that connection and kind of little ideas in the back of my head, like the 100K. I kind of pondered around my mind a bit, but obviously it didn't even seem feasible at that point before doing a marathon. But as soon as I finished the marathon, it was just like, what's next straight away? And then I was talking to Shane, and he's big into the ultra marathon, so he said to me to do the 60K Caribou Ultra. And in my head, the goal for me is still, even though even 60K, 100K still isn't fully feasible to me, but it's in the back of my mind. And I'm thinking I'll do the 60K, and then we'll see about after that if we can start pushing towards 100. And I done the 60K Caribou Ultra in, I think it was September or the end of August. And then as soon as I done that, it was actually my mum who came to me, and I hadn't even said it to her that I'd been thinking about the 100K before. But she said to me that she just looked it up on maps to see how far it was from here to the grave, and it was like exactly 100K or something.
Jeez.
And she said it to me about running it, and straight away it was just getting to planning then because I just knew it was meant to be then.
I know it's a beautifully sentimental thing, but I can't imagine what I'd say if my mum was like, "Here, would you just go and run 100K?" I know it's beautifully sentimental, but who needs enemies when Shane and your mum are sending you out on
Yeah,
ultra marathons? It's absolutely phenomenal. You in the space of 3 months from June into the end of August, you've gone from a marathon into a 60K distance, and what you thought was unattainable, and what most people think is unattainable, 100K distance. What that conversation with your mom, and I know we joke, but there's obviously huge meaning for you guys as a family. What did that like then in that moment to be like, this is it. This is the one I'm gonna do. This is the
yeah,
race of all races. Was this the
yeah,
starting of that?
100%. And I still remember just coming in to my mum's bedroom and having that conversation, and I was just buzzing, and we were just talking then because I fundraised for charity, doing the 100K. So straight away it was, what charity am I fundraising for? How are we going to fundraise? Are we going to get people out running with us? And how are we going to bring traction about it and everything? And for me, then it was getting the training plan ready and getting mentally psyched up and just getting straight stuck into it because I was only like, this conversation was about 2 weeks after the Kerryway Ultra. So I was short on time because I wanted to do it before I turned 18. So I had to do it between September and December. So I really was short on time. So any training plans that I found for 100K or however many 16 weeks long. So I was jumping in the middle of the training plan. And like, I still remember the first long run I done was like 45K on on a Sunday. And
And no medal, no
yeah,
crowd, no
yeah,
water
no
station.
man, no crowd on back roads by myself.
Jeez.
And it was tough. And I remember coming back after that run and almost questioning a bit. And I was just like, Jesus, am I going to be able to do more than twice that? But I just said, I'm not going to stop training anyway. And I pushed through, and those long, long runs were tough, and 50Ks and 60Ks. And I pushed through, and then on the day, it wasn't half as bad as like how the way my legs felt on that first 45K. I promise you, my legs didn't even feel that bad, and I done the 100.
Chris, what time's it start at?
2 a.m.
You select your own time to start this thing, Chris. Why 2 a.m.?
It was his mom's idea. She wanted him out of the house.
His mom's like, it's too easy. You got to make this harder. No night's sleep, 2 a.m. Get up and go.
So, well, in my head, I was kind of thinking if I started at 2 a.m., I'd be able to finish nice and early. And even I was kind of just thinking, because I knew in my head I was going for around 12 hours, but even if it went south and it took me 15, 16 hours, it would still be bright when I finished in. And I knew there'd be a good bit of family and friends waiting for me to finish as well. And we probably hang out for a bit, which we did. And when I was finishing, it was definitely worth it. But that was something that I didn't train for, and I didn't realize how hard that was going to be mentally running in the pitch dark,
Hmm.
like the first 50K, pitch dark and 0 degrees, and it's raining out. And I did not prepare for that mentally at all. But then once I did hit the 50K mark, I had a pit stop just to fuel, and the sun started coming up. It started getting a bit warmer. And that morale boost was just everything because 100% the hardest thing about it was starting at 2 a.m. in the pitch dark.
Hmm.
Just the mental hardness that was something else.
Yeah, I joke about that, but at the same time, I've done a few runs at night time, and it's not like I've done like 4:48 challenges, and like you'd be more tired in the last race lap 10, 11, 12 you finish in the afternoon, but they are easier than 8, 9, 10 going through the night. And I think it was winter enough time. Oh, it was around February, March or something I did it. It was cold enough, but those just getting through that night time and getting up and you're out of your sleep clocks all over the place and getting up and doing it. But I just want to backtrack just a very small bit here, just for context for everyone. It's like Cork Marathon June, as Eric was saying, June of 2025, then you did this, and then 3 months later you went into the Kerryway, and then
Yeah,
but you must only had like 10,
yeah,
11 weeks
yeah,
notice because at the end of November doing
yeah,
this. What injury did
yeah.
you have before all this, and then decide I'm really going to test that my rehab at 20 minutes of stretching actually worked?
It was just under my knee. It had become really tender. I don't know, was it like slather disease or something like that? But I just kind of, and I'm fairly tall. I just get pains under my knees, and it kind of always did going. And I just got really bad pains, and I got to the point even just walking on my knees was painful. So I really could do nothing. And I'd done the stretches for a while. And after not seeing results straight away, I kind of stopped doing the stretches. And then I kind of started a bit again. And honestly, I just got straight back into the running, except I was being a bit more sensible and I was getting better night's sleep. And I kind of had started making running a bit more of a lifestyle. And I think that's kind of the main thing that did stop the injury from coming back.
Fairly tall is an understatement, Chris. You're 6'4" according to your mammy.
Yeah,
You can
Even
take
Eric be
over.
looking up at you.
You can take over from Sean. We're trying to make this a tall person podcast. Although everyone meets me and gets this big fright because they think I'm some midget like Sean. But it's Chris, it's a phenomenal thing as well. And I know when Sean did his 4x4x48, and I give him credit, the one he always loved to do on his own was the 4 in the morning one. For the very reason to be with his own thoughts and stuff. 2 a.m. in the morning, it's cold, it's miserable, but it is a challenge. It's you, the darkness, the road. Because when you set off, there's a buzz. Once you get through that first 2K, that very quickly disappears in the rain and the cold. The mental toughness you are now developing, whether you know it now or maybe when you look back and we do an episode when this is now the biggest podcast in the world in about 5 years, and we look back in this episode and you're coming back to tell us a tale of how you've conquered the world of running. When you look back at this moment, that mental toughness that you are building now, and even in your own, I suppose, grief, you're thinking of others by fundraising for the charity, and we'll touch on the charity now in a second in a follow up question. That mental toughness element is where I'm honing in. Do you notice you're building it? Do you still struggle through certain kilometers, or how does it feel for you, particularly when it's cold, it's miserable, you're like, am I doing the right thing here? Is this really a good idea?
And yeah, definitely. Uh, it was like making hard choices and decisions to prioritize my running is kind of when I realized that that was the mental toughness in the discipline that I had. And like a lot of times, like not like I haven't went on nights out before, but many times like everyone will be going out on a Saturday night, and especially coming up to that 100k, I know I have to run 45k tomorrow. There's no way I can go Saturday night if I'm running 45k Sunday. Um, so it's really making those decisions that obviously if I'm running 100k at 17, that isn't something the average person does. So therefore, I can't have the same lifestyle that the average 17-year-old does. And that definitely was hard and tough. Seeing all my friends out, having a great time, going out to town, having a laugh, seeing all the videos and everything. And I'm inside eating my pasta, getting my carbs in the night before by myself. But I knew that it was going to be worth it. I knew that I was doing it for the bigger picture and not just the 100k, but what's to come after that in the future. Like, what is to come for me in the future.
We've heard that from like people that are coached or like high level athletes and stuff like that. But for you to just take that on yourself and have that, I don't want to say burden is not the right word for it. I can't think of the right word for it, but just to take that
Well,
on yourself and
the
go,
weight on your
the
shoulders, I
that
suppose. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, that's that is phenomenal. Like there's to just own that, and you're right. You're out that night. You're not getting a 45k run in. Where was that discipline instilled in you from a while, or did that come through the running? Where do you credit that to?
Well,
You'd no choices, man. Wouldn't let him. You're going running 45k in the morning, whether you like it or not. And then the
David
minute,
Goggins got nothing on your mammy.
yeah, and the minute you come home and it's after been raining, she's the door locked and she's waving at you from the front window. I have made your mum out to be so terrible. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. She
no,
sent the email, but if she did ever give the middle finger to you while you were standing out in the wet, I reckon she did. I reckon.
Go out and do another lap, she said.
Do another lap.
no. My mum almost kind of pushed me to go out a bit because she, like, obviously she'd see me coming back in for those 45k runs, 50k runs, absolutely dead, like, and obviously she'd know that I'm choosing to do that rather than be out the night before. And she'd ask me why, like, why would I choose to put myself through pain for 5 hours rather than have a fun night out? But the bottom line was she did always support whatever I did want to do or whatever I had my mind on. And that kind of has a big part to do with my discipline and making those choices as well. Was my family was just so supportive with any choice that I had to make. Like, and even the night of the 100k, they were all downstairs making signs for me. And just the whole build up, like, I know that my mom and my siblings are just as buzzing for me and just my biggest supporters in like the 100k. Even though I know I'm the one who ran the 100k, it wouldn't have been possible without my mom. Everything that she done and the fundraising, I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. Organising it, and Shane drove by me for the whole 12 hours in the car. So just those supports that are just a game changer in moments like that.
100%.
It's at that point, Chris, when people are drawing pictures and signs that you realise, oh no, I have to run 100k. But also, to add more weight to it, it was a fundraiser as well. We always talk. Sean once, if you can believe, looking at us now, charged me a fiver to have his head shaved when we were in college, and I was like, "Man, you should have shaved your head years ago. I'm not giving you a fiver for charity for that." But you're going to do this run, and you are working very closely with a charity on this, which in itself adds pressure to the moment. It adds pressure to the 100k and the showing up. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the charity you chose?
Yeah, so there definitely was that added pressure and even the thought, like, I remember when me and my mum first decided that we were gonna fundraise and we were gonna fundraise for the Children's Grief Centre Limerick alongside the Schools and Health Foundation. Um, we chose them two because Children's Grief Centre, my brother and my sister were in there and they got counselling inside there and just gave great support to them. And the Schools and Health Foundation, I went on a trip over to Sierra Leone with that charity and there was a school built in honour of my father over there. So they've done so much for us as well. And my thought process behind fundraising for them was simply I'd make a page and I'd post up a few videos. I might say it to the school, and if people throw a few quid in it, they throw a few quid in it. So we posted it up and set the target goal as 500 quid. And then I think that it hit 500 quid within the first few hours or something. So we then I think we made it 5,000. So that was obviously a lot bigger of a goal, but we said that we shoot big and just if it didn't hit it like that, I had in my head I would have been buzzing with 500 quid raised, like, and then it was building up, and by the time I was doing the 100k, it had hit over 5,000, and we kept it open for about a week after, and I think it finished around 6,000 then for both the charities, between both
Brilliant.
charities.
It's absolutely phenomenal, and I suppose, you know, you've timed it, you've done 2 a.m., it's your first 100K, and obviously this finish line is very different, Chris, and all the signs, the buzz, excitement, the daytime, but where you're finishing is a really important place for you and your families and what this goal was about. Um, is that finish line a part of you? And I'll ask this, and we can talk as much or as little in this, putting a kind of a finish line on this section and dealing with the grief element of your day. You will always deal with the grief element as you move on through your life, of course. We never let that go fully, but because you have mentioned of what's to come in the future. But in this segment of it, was that a nice finish line to your dad to say, look, I've done this huge event
Yeah,
as part of the process and for two
yeah,
fantastic charities, and we built a school.
yeah.
What did this finish line mean to you?
Um, definitely, yeah, the 100k was kind of like the big hurrah and a big deal. And as much as it was me doing it, it was all about my father. Um, and kind of now after that, I'm getting more into fast running and trying to see as much as far as I can go, just with, to do with my running potential. But maybe just for now, the time being, I guess, yeah, kind of a bit of a finish line for that recreation and stuff and the fundraising and stuff. But definitely in the future again, like the Kerry Ultra, I really enjoyed. I'd love to get back into the ultra marathons, but when I'm a bit older, and definitely like I really enjoy fundraising as well. Well, I'm going to be fundraising soon for the Dublin Marathon again, but um, bigger charity events, I definitely love to do. But further on in the future, like for now, I kind of want to see how fast I can get while I'm as young as I am running. Like,
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal in that sense. And look, how far you got. Like you've just turned 18, you've already done 100K. I was hoping I'd do that sometime in the next 20 years. So you're already ahead of where most people are kind of starting out, and to go that distance, and we always say I'd rather do a marathon than an all out 5K. You
yeah,
said you moved back into the shorter distances. How's your feeling? Because remember, you got sick after the 10K breaking the PB of your dad. How are you feeling about marathons, ultras versus 5Ks, 10Ks now?
um, well, it really depends on the day. Like I done the park run. I'd never done the park run. There's a few days that I tried to wake up for it and I kept waking up late. But I finally went down. Me and my mum went down, and I hadn't went for a 5k PB in ages. I said I'd go all out. and then I won the park run. I think at 18, 20. But I felt grand though. I actually felt grand, and it was a good day. The weather was good. It was a good buzz, and it was mad because like we were rushing out the door, and I had eaten a fry about 20 minutes beforehand. But then,
I'm
but
taking notes. If that helps me get an 1820, I'm eating fries in the morning for every 5k from now on till I do it. I'll have a fry, no bother.
I'm trying to tell you this for years, Sean. You just won't listen to me.
Run 2 a.m. in the morning as well. I gotta start doing that as well to get a sub 25k. I'm in.
but, um, then a few weeks after that, I was with my school and we were at track and field, and there was a 5k race on the track. So I was thinking this will be handy. I'll get another PB. It's on the track, like, and I had porridge for breakfast, electrolytes, gel beforehand, new running shoes on and everything, and I burnt out after 2k, and everyone was just watching me, and I was just feeling every lap around the track, every single lap, and it was really that cave that you feel in that 5k, and yeah, that 5k was definitely harder than a marathon, but it depends. It depends on the day, I think.
I think you need to go back eating fry ups. Listen, I'm not
It's a
there.
tall people thing,
Yeah,
is it? It's a tall
Look,
people thing.
one
yeah,
a fry up, he gets a PB easy breezy. He eats porridge and electrolytes and he blows up. I'm not a scientist, but one of these things is not like the other. Um, but when you look at that and as you look to the future, and look, the future is bright. You're only 18. Most people only get into long distance running as they come into their 30s. So you're 12 years ahead of the game of the norm. And then when you look at young Irish athletes that are going into the long distance, middle distance, they usually start shorter and progress into the longer. Are you getting involved with any clubs back home, Chris? As because you've said now you've kind of moved away. You're 18. You've started to take this more serious. There's more of a lifestyle change. Are you getting involved with any clubs or athletic clubs, or
I
are you
actually
kind
am.
of not really?
I recently joined back to Boston. It's a new enough
Oh,
club,
very good.
you know?
Yes. Yeah, we
Yeah,
do know them. Yeah.
and a lot of my father's friends, they would have been out running with. A lot of them were running with back to Boston. So I went out and I done a session with them and really enjoyed it. But it was kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone as well, going out there, especially because with the 100k, it was endless hours of running by myself, like, and I kind of just gotten so comfortable doing that. So easy just go out, run by myself, and not being challenged by anyone or even having to socialize. I can just do that. So it was definitely in many different aspects pushing myself to go out there. Once I did, I just got such a buzz off it. And well, I haven't been out in a few weeks now just because I'm finishing up in school, but um, really, you'd notice the difference in those hard interval sessions, like doing them with a group of people makes them a lot easier. And back to Boston is a really good running club as well. John Kinson, a super coach.
Now, John, unfortunately, John has to give us €1 million, or he has to come on the podcast. That's the way the advertising world works here, Chris. So, John, we'll be in touch we'll send you the invoice, or you can come on now next week. But, Chris, is this your leaving cert year?
Yeah, yeah. I just had my graduation yesterday.
Graduation yesterday, and you probably went for a 45k then this morning just to top it off.
Just the 15k, the chill 15.
Chris, what are your ambitions? Obviously, we have the dreaded leaving cert that's knocking on the door. But as we spoke about mental toughness, you've had a hell of a 2 years. You've built a lot of resilience, and for someone um so young, I suppose, to be dealing with it the way you're dealing with shows such great maturity. And the leaving cert now is a different kind of challenge. What does it feel like now to be stepping into a leaving cert? Would you prefer 100k in the pissings of
Yeah,
rain, 0
I
degrees
no, I
Celsius?
definitely would. I definitely would. No, yeah, it's a different type of toughness, but um, and I definitely did, especially last year. Battling with my grief, struggled a lot in school, and got in a lot of arguments with teachers and everything. But I was showing up to school, and that's the most that I could do. That's the most I felt I could do, and still for the whole year this year, I was a lot better and not fighting with the teachers and stuff like that. But I'm doing a lot better than I was last year. And uh, regardless, like I am grateful that I'm sitting my leaving cert, and because there was l- genuine conversations about leaving school when I was struggling going in fifth year. Uh, so to be here now and progress so much since last year, and every day still progressing, not just with fitness but with school and in every way. Like uh, I'm happy with that. Just to be doing my best every day and to be doing my leaving cert, and I'm planning on doing sports development and then getting into some type of personal training then.
It is amazing to see, and I go back to the leaving cert element. It is one element of a test at the end of an education system, but life is always going to be the biggest test. And so far, you've had more of a test than most of your peers, and yeah, the odd route with a teacher, but I'm sure they have the understanding to go, look, some people are going through tougher times than others, and that's where the grief foundations and probably you're a role model to your brothers and sisters to show up and sit down and sit these exams. And like you said, you've probably got that focus now to look at personal training element, and you know that part of this is okay, I'll do my couple of exams and get on. But on the other side of that, Chris, there is far more to the world, as you've probably seen now through running and in beyond the exams, and especially when you get into sport and training, and who knows what that will bring for you in the future, which is really
Exactly.
exciting to see.
Yeah, and it just feels so good to have something to feel so passionate about it and be committed to this. And it's such a good feeling when I have to make a tough decision to not go to 5 to run 45K. Like it's just such a good feeling to be able to make that decision because I care that much about running. Like,
It's absolutely brilliant. I'd say as well, and I know we joked, but you do have a mom who's willing to push you. She even pushed you onto this podcast, which we will give her credit for, to be fair. Um, and it's great to see that you've embraced that and you're starting to push yourself as well. You're meeting people that are going to push you and challenge you. What are your future? Are you allowed to say what you're thinking of doing? Are we allowed to say the leaving cert isn't a priority? Is there a race around the corner in July?
okay, okay,
What's
well,
what's next, Chris?
I actually am doing Cork Marathon, which is 3 days before my first leaving cert test.
Ah, I knew there'd be something. I knew it.
Has your man been checking your homework or your Strava each week to see what's going on?
No, he wouldn't add her as a friend on the old Strava there. He blocked her just so she wouldn't know. Chris, how will you be now with the DOMs and the sore legs as you get into say, English paper one?
Um, well, I guess it all depends how I do in the marathon, really.
Have you an ambition
Um,
for this one, Chris, or is this
yeah,
a get around and a hat tip to what's been a fantastic couple of years? Because obviously you're busy in school and it takes a lot of your mental capacity. Is it just to go and enjoy
um,
another long run?
well, I kind of do, well, I really want to just see how fast I can get. And then in the Dublin Marathon again, uh, I'll have a bit of a better idea what time to aim for because I'll be creating a good base for myself for Cork. But really, I'd want to be getting less than 3:15, to be honest. And really kind of 3:10. Um, and depending whether I do or do not get that will decide the form that I am in for all my leaving cert exams.
Well, Chris, I don't want to break it to you, but the quicker you do the marathon, the quicker you're back studying. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Do you know if you take 4 hours, it's another hour off with a good
Yeah.
excuse. So, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be doing a solid 7 hour marathon. But Chris,
You
and that's
finish,
easy.
Eric, would you?
That's without even trying. I probably wouldn't even finish that. Chris, it has been absolutely fantastic to talk to you. You are currently on and have been on a whirlwind of a journey and some that none of us will ever understand. But we're so glad you were able to share your story and see the maturity that you bring to it. a lot of people, and you've mentioned some, have been along the road with you. Is there anyone in the final kind of tip off and sign off that you'd like to thank or talk to about, or who's been a part of this journey with you?
Well, yeah, first and foremost, my mother. Even though I can physically do all these things that I know I can, it would be a million times harder without my mum and my siblings. None of it would be possible without them, first and foremost. And as I said, Shane, everything to do with running any piece of advice, I look go straight to him and a really good role model. And so many other friends and family friends that have helped me. And also in school, teacher Mr. Ahern brought me out to the track and field trips, to cross country, and gave me that day off school. And uh, yeah, I built a good bond with him as well. So lots of supports, and it's important to reach out and make those supports because it makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And I'm sure as soon as we stop recording, you are going to forget or remember an aunt, an uncle, or a friend or a neighbor.
Yeah,
And on your behalf, we're going to say thank you to everyone who has helped you on this journey, because it hasn't been easy, and it can be easy to forget people who have had such a value in your life. Chris, it has been fantastic to talk to you. We are
thanks
looking
so much for
forward to
having me.
seeing your Strava now on the bank holiday weekend to see how that goes, and then we'll check in again for the CAO time, see how that went. It's a byproduct of the old marathon running, but it is absolutely brilliant. Sean's looking at me so disappointedly here, but yeah. Well, Chris, huge congrats. We are so excited and so happy to see you actually enjoying the sport and dealing with everything so maturely. And you're an inspiration to all of us, and hopefully to all the listeners as well. So big well done to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Best of luck this Sunday in the Cork Marathon, Chris. And that is it for this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast from myself, Chris, and Eric. Take care. You wouldn't finish the marathon in 7 hours anyway, Eric.
I still need to